Hello and welcome back. My name is Brandon Watson. Today in this video, we are going to be going over a little 2020 recap. Unfortunately, I couldn't make this sooner as I was out of town last week for a photography gig, so I apologize. Though, I figured we can quickly go over where I started the year, how it all went, as well as a little bit on where I ended up closing the year at. I had a few good months as well as 2 months that truly had me negative, so let's go ahead and get right to it. For those who don't know me, I started this whole journey a little over 3 years ago, and like many people who started trading in the markets within the past few years, I learned initially through watching several YouTube videos by the gurus of that time. YouTube titles of how fairly large profit was being basically made in minutes enticed me as a photographer, and let's face it, I think it's what entices most everybody. The fact you can now trade anywhere is what captures a lot of people's attention, though of course along with the luxuries comes learning the business and putting in the hard work. So after taking in a few videos here and there, I bought into one of the guru's courses, and to be quite frank, I learned a lot of decent stuff regarding the basics, stuff that a lot of beginners should learn so they can practice and start to slowly grow their account. And from what I was being told, you can literally turn 1,000 into a small, slightly livable wage within a year should you learn to become consistent in the small things. Oh shoot, easy. However, after going through a single pass of the course and never once logging into my paper account, I felt like I was ready.
I don't think you're ready yet, man.
I'm ready to ride giants, Kunu.
I think you're ready.
Until I immediately lost a good chunk of my account on a penny stock as my first trade, which was my immediate wake-up call on just how quickly things can turn bad when you don't fully understand the risk nor understand risk management. But through time, trial, and error, I did manage to find success here and there through my own due diligence on tickers like BLX, which turned out to be my first 30% total account gain in a single day, as well as finding TNDM and buying it at $8. Eventually, after a year later and tons of hard work, I got my account back to even after being down 20% all year, but then quickly started accumulating losses again due to overtrading, bag holding, and poor practices in general, so I packed everything up and took the rest of my money to pay off credit card debt I had at the time, leaving the markets for what I thought was for good. Over the course of the next 3 years, I took $36 a day every day and put it into an aggressive portfolio on a savings account app called Acorns. Some of you may have heard of it. Each day I watched my balance go up and down by 0.5%, and even on some rare days, it would go up by 1.5%. Amazing results, I know. And so this made me think, if a fund can earn 0.5% a day, why can't I? I saw old screenshots of 5%, 8%, 30% total account growth days I had in the past, and then I checked TNDM. Turns out, a month after I sold and left the markets, it went to $100 by the end of the year, which at the time, I had a pretty good chunk of my account on the position, so I was bummed for a day or two after finding that out. Then, COVID-19 hit, the markets tanked, and I knew this was my chance to come back stronger. So I took another 1,000 at the end of February 2020 and researched day in and day out, never really stopping, even now today, still pouring over charts, reading books on tech analysis, going through videos to soak in more info, because for me, every day is a learning opportunity. And eventually, through all my research, I developed a way that made sense to my brain that has allowed me to turn my 1,000 to 2,000 in just barely over 2 months with a mixture of day trading and swing trading. After the second month, I added my stimulus check and grew my account 43% from 3,200 to 4,600. Then for whatever greedy reason I had at the time, I said, you know what? I'm doing amazing with swing trading, so let me try my hand out at options. Big mistake on my part, let me tell you. Over the course of a month, I took a $1,300 drop and went from 4,600 to 3,300, which was another 28% down, until finally at the end of August, I said, you know what? Maybe I should go back to what I'm good at. Then after applying for 7 months and never receiving anything, my unemployment comes through and I made a $2,000 deposit, which came just in time because literally a day after I had a nice 15% day, which helped me add another $500 on top. 2 weeks later, I take another $2,000 from my unemployment because I don't really just want it sitting in my savings account collecting dust or potentially being spent on junk. Then going into October was tough as I got knocked around heading into my birthday on the 24th. As you can see, most of the red days were when I wasn't paying enough attention and was probably out doing something else. The only reason why I was saved was due to having my first $1,000 day on the 7th thanks to Akio finally breaking out of the $7 range. November, obviously I killed it as I made several videos which accumulated to my 80% gain for the month. And then we have December. December was probably my toughest month out of all of them, not because the market wasn't offering great opportunities, it definitely was, and a few of those I mentioned in the last Watchlist video I made even took off, but guess what? I wasn't in any of them. I did jump into CHX and BLDP, but unfortunately I cut them the day before the push because I felt like I had too many positions and they were all going down at the same time. Whenever that happens, I tend to cut everything and start fresh. I'd rather close everything out no matter how much I am down and come back fresh with a blank position screen and the past behind me. Why? Because I know no matter what, I can always make the money back and more if I focus and take responsibility for my trading. I've said several times now that I've been 20% down over the past few months, but I've always made it back. Now, you might be saying, yeah, but you funded more money into your account on top of all those mistakes. And you might be right. However, I only did so knowing that A, I had already doubled my 1,000 into 2,000. So the confidence was already built that I can make 100% of my funds. So therefore, if I could do it once, I can do it again. B, the stimulus and unemployment was better off in my brokerage earning money rather than sitting in my savings account waiting to be spent, as well as the fact that I didn't plan on receiving those, nor did I know when they would come through, so the timing just happened to occur coincidentally during those rough patches. And C, taking into account that I already have A down, I'm trying to do what I can to get past the 25K PDT mark, as I figure once that happens, my curve will be a lot cleaner than it was for 2020. But I can't complain on being up 125% on the 6,500 I've funded so far since March and throughout the year. My ending balance for 2020 sits at $14,068.22, and after taking even more losses the first week of January, only to start recovering 1,000 of those losses last week, my current balance so far to date is at $14,519.75. So I'm slowly starting to come back and refine my alignment with the market. What 2020 taught me was that no matter what, the faster you cut your losses, the faster you'll be able to make it back. Even if I am 5, 10, or even 20% down, I can always make my way back with patience and focus, be prepared every night and the following day, and stick to your system, because the moment you let your emotions get in the way, you've already lost the trade, and the only person to blame is yourself. It might be tough, but I believe that nothing is impossible, and that with the right information and attitude, any problem can be solved. So going into 21, I don't know. I'm ready for it. Last year, I was able to find so many tickers that went up 100% that I was surprised at how many there were. Knowing that I can find them ahead of time only means that what's left is to learn how to play them to the best of my ability, and that is the next problem that I'm going to solve. And I hope you'll be there with me. It's going to be a great year, and we're all going to make it together. So thank you, take care, and let's hit those goals.